What do you do when you're in the middle of a negotiation with a prospect and they ask you to send over a business case or proposal or some more information about your sponsorship opportunity? You send it to them, right? Wrong. In today's video, I'm going to share a story about one of our clients who did just that and as a result, lost the deal. Check it out. Before we dive into today's video, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you get updates every time we release a new video. And if you want us to keep producing free content, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. It means a lot. So if you've been following our work and my channel for any length of time, you know that I do not recommend sending sales material to prospects before you have your first meeting. Well, one of our clients, Dave, was in conversation with a potential sponsor. And they described in our community that the sponsor seemed really excited. And then the prospect asked Dave, could you send me over some information about your sponsorship opportunity? Dave asked the community, what do you think I should send? And we, of course, all said, don't send anything. Have the discovery call first. Well, Dave had just done some media monitoring and discovered that he had just over 1.5 million impressions on his sponsorship property. Dave thought this was a significant number of impressions. And so he sent over a couple of bullets about the size of the property, the size of the audience, and how many media impressions they were expecting. Well, the potential sponsor, the prospect, replied and said, oh, 1.5 million media impressions really isn't that big of a deal to us. So we're gonna decline this meeting. If you're entering a relationship with a potential sponsor and you're telling them that you would like to create a custom package that connects them to their target market in meaningful ways, and you really want to understand what they're trying to achieve and how they measure success, you're telling them that you take a very specific approach to creating sponsorship opportunities and building your sponsorship program. Well, it was Emerson who said, your actions speak so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying. If you are telling your prospects that you want to create custom opportunities to help them achieve their goals, and you make assumptions about what their goals are by sending them information that they really didn't ask for, you are in fact showing them that you may not be that interested in building a custom package. The mistake that Dave made is a classic one. Dave saw some things that he felt were really impressive within his sponsorship opportunity. And 1.5 million impressions could be considered significant to some. And Dave couldn't wait to share it with his potential sponsor, thinking they would feel the same. Well, that sponsor was a large Fortune 500 company. They probably have a media buy, a media strategy that gets them hundreds of millions of impressions in any given quarter. So 1.5 million impressions really doesn't add much. Furthermore, this sponsor may not actually be in a brand building phase. They could be looking to acquire new clients. They could be looking to place their product. They could be looking to sample their product. It could be that they don't care at all about branding and about awareness. And so when Dave presented their impressions, it was a signal to the sponsor that Dave really didn't understand their goals. So why was this potential sponsor even asking for more information in the first place? Well, as I always say, just send me a proposal is code for no thanks. Your potential sponsors are being hit with so many requests. I had one sponsor tell us they get over 10,000 unsolicited sponsorship requests every month. They are hit with so many requests for sponsorship, for investment, for funding, for partnerships, that they're constantly trying to triage those requests and get rid of all the requests that aren't an obvious fit. So every time you share more than you have to before the meeting, you are increasing the risk that something will go wrong with that potential partner. So when a potential sponsor asks me to share information ahead of a meeting, my response is always one of two things. One, I ignore it completely and just have the meeting. Or two, I respond and say, I really don't have anything to share with you until I get a better sense of what you're trying to achieve. Everything we do is custom, and I don't want to make any assumptions that could be wrong. I would much rather hear from you about what it is that you're trying to achieve, what you look for in a good partnership, and if at that point it makes sense for me to share something, I will. Now, if you're using the hybrid approach to sponsorship sales that we recommend and that we teach, Putting together a custom package really doesn't take very long at all. So what's the takeaway here? If someone is asking you for more information and you don't know why they're asking for it, you are significantly increasing the risk that they will decline the meeting if you share it. The other important fact to remember is that just because something is impressive to you doesn't mean it will be impressive to the sponsor if those assets don't help your sponsor achieve their goals. Impressions are really only good for awareness. And if your sponsor is looking to make a connection to a very specific niche or niche audience, then impressions are really not what they're after. So by sharing information with a potential sponsor, you are effectively guessing at what they find important. If you don't know exactly what they're looking for, you're probably not in a position to share it, which is why the business case that we recommend is focused entirely on audience and some of the cool case studies and ways that you've engaged that audience in the past to show a potential sponsor that you know how to build custom opportunities, rather than trying to list all of the assets you have for sale in hopes that the sponsor will see something they like. So Dave secured a meeting, shared some information that then got the meeting canceled, and then had to scramble to try to save the meeting and get the meeting back on the books after the sponsor had canceled. Getting the meeting is a lot of work. After a meeting has been canceled because the sponsor doesn't like what they see is even more work. So the next time someone asks you for sales material, before you've had a chance to really dive in and do a good discovery, what I typically do is politely decline and let them know that I'm really interested in just learning more about them and whether or not we can help them at all before I send them anything. The response to that is usually positive. You may want to try it the next time someone asks you for some sales material before you've had a chance to really uncover their pain points. Now, if you like what you've heard today and you want to go a bit deeper into how to build your sponsorship program, check out the description below. I've placed a link for some free training that I put together that will help you do just that. And if you want us to keep making this free content available, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get updates every time we release a new video.